Okay, completing the square. Life in Mr. Mormon's background. Ready for this? Fun story. When I was in high school, my math teacher taught me this. All right, it was kind of the same chapter, maybe a little split up differently, but same stuff pretty much. High school me was like, what's the point? All right, like
yes.
Literally, I was like, what's the point of this? I have this way to do this. I have this way to do this. Mr. Feely, I don't understand why I have to do this. Mr. Feely, he was my math teacher in high school. Great dude. Okay. As you get older, or as I've gotten older, it's actually a pretty slick way to solve these. All right, you're going to use this you can use these especially if you cannot factor. All right, so if you ever had one that doesn't factor, you have to go to other means. All right, completing the square is one of those other means. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. So now, let me think about this. Your last lesson, 3.4, somewhere in your notes, I told you to star something.
Yes.
And put 3.5 by it. Okay? Does anybody remember what that was called?
Oh, yes.
Not what it was, but what it was called. Nope.
Wasn't it difference of squares?
Nope, the other one. A perfect square trinomial. Okay? That is the key today. Perfect square trinomials. Alright? That is what you want to make happen, captains. Alright? Because here's how this is going to work. The left side of the equations are going to have to be perfect square trinomials. The right sides need to be a number. Okay? So you factor the left side. So up here on the first one, we have x squared plus 6x plus 9. Multiply number of 9, add number of 6. What two numbers multiply to 9 and add to 6? 3 and 3. Okay? 3 and 3. Now, how you used to do it was x plus 3, x plus 3. We're growing up now. You're going to write x plus 3 quantity squared equals 36. They do not have to equal 0. That's the beauty of this part. They don't have to equal 0. Right. For this example, for completing the square, they don't have to equal 0. Wrong. Hold up. Okay. You're still solving for x. So we still need to get this x here all by itself. So we need to cancel out that square power. So how would we do that, Stone?
Square the left and square the right.
Nope.
Cube. No.
Nope.
Root.
Square root. Both sides. Alright. So x plus 3 equals.
6.
Not quite. Black one. Plus or minus 6. Very good. Okay. Remember, you're going to get 2 answers here, right? Okay. You're talking about an x squared, so you need 2 answers. That's where your 2 answers come from. That plus and minus. Okay. So then you subtract 3. Now here's where you can do this a few different ways. Okay. So x equals negative 3 plus or minus 6. Remember, you want 2 answers. So you do. I'm going to show it like this one time. So you can go from here. You can go negative 3 plus 6. Negative 3 minus 6. Because you do 1 plus, 1 minus. Okay? Negative 3 plus 6 gives you 3. Negative 3 minus 6 gives you negative 9. There's your 2 answers. Now, they can change, what you're looking at, okay? Different types of formulas or quadratics on the left. Numbers on the right could be a little different. This one's a little different now. But your one on the left, that's your first thing you always look at to see if it is a perfect square trinomial. See if it factors to where it's the same 2 binomials twice. That's the key. All right, this doesn't work unless you can write it as a binomial that's being squared. That's what makes this work. Okay. So you have a multiply number 25, add number negative 10. So what would those be? Signs? Negative 5, okay? So x minus 5 quantity squared equals 27. Square root both sides. X minus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of 27. What should you do with 27 there? Factor tree it. Okay. 9 and 3. 9 goes 3 and 3. So you can skip. I'm going to actually show all the steps. X minus 5 equals plus or minus 3 rad 3, right? And then you add 5 over. So x equals 5 plus or minus 3 rad 3. And that's good enough for me. Okay? Anybody know what that's called? I mean the answer as a whole, not just the one part or the other part. It's called the exact solution. Okay. There's a difference between talking about exact solutions with these and talking about these as decimals. Okay. So whenever you have a square root in the problem, like this one here, I do not want you guys to go 5 plus 3 rad 3 equals in your calculator and give me some long decimal that I could really care less about. Okay. That's not what I'm going for here, unless it be a word problem, for example. Okay. But we won't get to those till tomorrow. Same way with the other one, okay? So if you want to leave this one as 5 equals plus or minus, or x equals 5 plus or minus 3 rad 3, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. The only other way you can do it, honestly, do 5 plus 3 rad 3, 5 minus 3 rad 3. Okay? I don't want to see decimals whenever they show up like that. Okay? The only trick is, and the only thing to pay attention to is if it was like that first one, where you have numbers and they work out nice, you know, 5, what was it, like 3 plus 6, negative 3 plus 6, whatever it was. I want numbers there. Okay, you can clean that up. You're big kids. Okay, everybody good? Not bad, right? Not terrible. Okay, cool. Why don't you try that one? Or hold on, maybe I don't. Nope, I do want you to try that one. So right now, this one's no go. Okay. But it still has answers. I promise you this. Yes, it does. Okay? Here's what you do. Ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. Rewrite it. Leave some space. Okay? Leave some space in between the 16x and the equals and the 9. Okay? So step 1. Rewrite. Leave a little space. Your next step. Take b from ax squared plus bx plus c. You take b. You divide it by 2, which is 8. Okay? Now, part of this is just the cuteness of the slides. Okay? Like these, step 2, this part here, that part there. I want you to make sure you put a box around this 8. Okay? Every time you do that step, I want you to box that number. Square, put that number in a square. Okay? Or as much a square as you can get to. Alright? I know, that one's a rectangle, I know. But hopefully it triggers something. What do you think your next step is?
Square.
To square it. Very good. So 8 squared is what? 64. Great. You're going to put that, hold on, right there. You're going to put that into that space that you opened up. Okay? Everybody see that? Now, what's the only thing I got to fix now? Because what did I just do?
You gotta fix the 9.
No. Not the 9 itself.
16x.
No.
The x squared.
No.
Well,
What did I just do?
You divided by 2.
No. Added 64 to the left side.
add to the other side.
Add it to the other side. You're dealing with an equation. Okay? So what you do to one,
73.
got to do the other. Okay? Now, look at what you just did to your left side. X squared plus 16x plus 64. How does that factor?
Perfectly.
Perfectly. X plus 8. Alright? When you clean it up, that's what it is, right? And then it factors x plus 8 quantities squared. Okay? You see that? Now, 2 reasons for this box, and you'll see this as we go through the day. Put it in the box because your next step after that would be to square it. What's in here will always be right there. Always. No matter how nasty it gets, always. What's here is here. That is called completing the square. Okay? That's what it is. It's called completing the square. You're completing.
Combine the lesson here.
You are completing
How'd you get the?
the perfect square trinomial. See how it works? Okay?
So that's the answer.
Oh,
No, you would still finish this guy.
Oh, so it's,
Square root at both sides. Right. I just don't. For some dumb reason, whenever I made this PowerPoint, that's where I stopped. I have no idea why. I really don't. That was really dumb of me. Me 5 years ago. I could, but that would take effort.
We don't like putting forth effort.
Yeah, I mean, I have it here. I can just write it here. So what's the difference, So square root both sides. I'm gonna finish it up over here now. You have x plus 8 equals plus or minus square root of 73. 73 isn't nothing can factor out, right?
9 and 7.
9 is it is.
No.
No.
63.
That's 63. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's all good. So x would equal negative 8 plus or minus square root of 73, and you are done. Okay. Now, for one like this.
Oh, can I give you
No. Clean up what the sides you're going to be working on. Okay? This is the first one. We've had something like this that had extra stuff on it. If this side doesn't factor right now, which this one it doesn't, move this number to the other side. Okay? Okay, great. Clean up this space.
I was going to say move it over to the side and then do the 10 or do the 5 squared.
Move the 11 over. So you get x squared plus 10x equals 11. Then you divide 10 by 2, which gives you 5. Square it. Gives you 25. But you add to one side, gotta add to the other side. This is where the mistake happens, right here. Okay? Everybody gets this part. Once they understand how to do it, they remember this. They make it right here. They square root it. It's right here that people forget. Okay? Don't be one of them people. Okay, so then you factor the left side. X plus 5. 20 squared equals 36. Take your square roots. X plus 5 equals plus or minus 6. Subtract 5. X equals negative 5. Plus or minus 6. Negative 5 plus 6 is 1. Negative 5 minus 6. Negative 11. All right, now here's the little catch. Okay, there's a catch to this. All right. Whenever you factor, the equations have to equal what? Oh, come on, Bell.
0.
Whenever you factor, your equations have to equal 0. Okay. Now, obviously, these have not been equal in 0. These don't have to equal 0. There is something special to completing the square, though, that has to be in place. All right? And that's A has to equal 1. Okay? A has to equal 1. Here, A equals what? 2. Okay? Can't have that. Or at least make it work the rest of the way. So, what you do, since it is an equation, you can pull this off. You divide everything by 2. Alright? Divide everything by 2. which leaves you x squared minus 7 halves x. Well, I'm going to leave my space and move my 5 halves over. Is that okay? Like that? Everybody cool with what I just did?
Yeah.
All right. Don't change your process. What's your next step?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. Okay? Now, since we are dealing with fractions now, instead of dividing by 2, what should we probably say instead?
Multiply by 2.
No, not by 2.
Multiply by 4.
No, even worse.
1.
1 what?
1/2.
Good, 1/2. Dividing by 2 is, yeah, divide by 2 or multiply by a half. So negative 7 halves times 1/2 gives you what? Oh, please don't go to your calculators for that!
7 fours.
Thank you, Tanius.
Which is 7 Once you do it, once you multiply it by negative 1/2,
Positive, always positive.
always positive.
Always positive, yeah. Always divide by positive 2 times by positive 1/2. Okay, I'll get to another part of that too. Now square it. Now when you square a fraction, you do negative 7/4 times negative 7/4, right? Or at least this fraction specifically. So negative times negative makes what?
Positive.
Positive, good. This number you add in right here is always positive. Always, because you're squaring it, right? Negative times negative is going to give you positive. Positive times positive gives you a positive. It'll always be positive. 7 times 7 gives you?
49.
49. 4 times 4?
16.
16. So this number you add in here, 49 sixteenths. All right? You do it to the same thing. Oh, just calm down. 49 sixteenths over there also. Okay? Take it part by part. Take it slow. Okay? Don't try to rush it. Be like, look at me, I'm speed racer. None of that crap. Take it slow. Make sure you're okay. All right? Now, your left side, if we did everything correctly, should factor. How does it factor?
No idea.
Actually, you do.
Oh, negative 7/4.
Very good. Why?
Because you just squared it.
Yes. Remember what I said earlier about that box number?
It's always going to be that.
Whatever is in that box is the number in your binomial. Okay? So you don't have to know that for a multiply number of 49 sixteenths and an add number of 7 halves, it's 2 negative 7/4. That's the beauty of it. It's just, whoops, wrong color. X minus 7/4 point squared equals. Okay, kids, let's talk fractions.
Negative 5 plus 49.
What do we need?
Common denominator.
Common denominators.
Which is 16.
Which is 16, so we need to multiply the first fraction by
8.
8,
Negative 40.
which makes negative 40.
Which is 9 over
16.
Did everybody catch that train?
No.
All right. You need common denominators, right?
Yeah.
Which is 16.
Yeah.
This one's already 49. 2 times what gives you 16?
8.
8. Negative 5 times 8 is? Negative 40. Negative 40 plus 49. 9. Now, look what happened. Now look what's about to happen. What's your next step?
You gotta
Just got a square root.
right side.
Okay?
Wait, question, can I ask one?
Sure.
Since they both can be, like the 9 and 16 can be square rooted, do you just put 3 over 4?
Yes. That's the only part that I didn't know if we knew that or not. When you square root a fraction,
You do both.
you do both parts. Much like how you square a
Is there going to
fraction.
be a very hard one with a square fraction that's not
I will explain in just a quick second. Okay? But you square root the top, you square root the bottom. Now, the key here, remember, is plus or minus.
Right. So it's
X minus 7/4 equals.
plus or minus 3 over 4.
Now, look how nice and neat that ended up. Look, you already have common denominators down here.
Oh my
Okay?
gosh.
That's so fantastic. So fantastic.
Praise the
No,
heavens.
that's probably not the answer.
Now,
Well, the one thing is just, never mind.
add the 7/4 over.
Oh.
Okay? So X equals 7/4 plus or minus 3/4. 7 plus 3.
10.
10 over 4. Reduce it.
5 over 2.
5 halves, good. 7 minus 3.
Negative 4 over 4 was 1.
Whoa.
Or-
7 minus 3.
Never mind,
4.
never mind.
4 over 4, reduce that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty. To Wagner's question. Right here. How nice or how nasty could this be? Your numerator can be anything.
Oh.
Okay? It can be perfect square, could not be a perfect square, could be a negative. Okay, hang tight. Your denominator will always, should always, I can't think of one that it doesn't off the top of my head, but it should always end up being some perfect square. Okay? At least the ones you're going to see. Or I'm going to make sure of it. Okay. If the fractions are here, yeah. I mean, the numbers might magically work where that fraction reduces out, but I doubt it. Okay. It is Algebra 2. You will work with some fractions in here. I know. I mean,
So, if you're saying that you said the numerator might not be a perfect square,
mm-hmm.
so if it's like 3 rad 2,
So say it was like an 8, right? You would do 2 rad 2 on top. Okay? Just maybe. You know, if I was a good teacher, which, you know, is always up for debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It's
We're not.
still-
Jury's still out on this guy right here. Maybe if I was a good teacher, I've shown an example of one where some funny business might happen. Alrighty, subtract 22. Divide 8 by 2, you get 4. Square 4, you get 16. That was a terrible 4, but we're gonna roll with it. That's a. I don't know what that is. We'll try that again. Hey, shh. So you get x plus 4. 20 squared equals negative 6. Square root both sides. X plus 4 equals plus or minus square root of negative 6. Nope. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus I square root of 6. Just like that. If 6 factor treed, you would bring it out or break it up, but it doesn't. So all you gotta do is bring the I out. Make sure you move that 4 over. Alright?